Dude, you did a murder for what?
Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Who is in the gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will be edifying. ICE agent murders a civilian with U.S. citizen in Minneapolis or Minnesota. This video was sent to the group chat. Looks like ICE agents, which that's not like a lot of coverage on these things, but nonetheless, they're still happening. As we know that Trump has deployed ICE agents, federal police, to patrol neighborhoods to look for certain migrants and quote unquote illegals, so he can detain them and get rid of them and throw them out of the country, which a lot of reports came out that among these migrants, a lot of them was being flown out of the country and dropped off in the ocean and took it to particular black sites, and Lord knows what happened to these people. But this is just a prelude as to what's getting ready to happen to your society, okay? Because I was watching this video. I can see if I could pull it up real quick. Let me see something real quick. I was watching it last night. I think it was maybe in Steve Ram. Yep, National Guard here.
These boots are made from a single piece of premium American leather tanned in Pennsylvania. They're built to last.
Come on, bro. But yeah, the National Guard ready to move U.S. states preparing for military action. Now, I want to say back in September, I think things were put on a book about Trump, how he wanted to deploy troops to all 50 states. I can't remember the exact number. I think it may have been like 500 to each state. But don't quote me on that because, those things can change. As we know that Esau, he likes to move the goalpost. But nonetheless, they're getting ready for some type of military takeover, or they're getting ready to lock things down or collapse the economy or something to that degree is going to get people's attention, man. Because, if ICE is getting the green light to murder U.S. citizens, then how much more these foreign troops when they're actually lost my train of thought. When they actually deployed and actually called to active duty, okay, because they have a lot of military-age men that came through the border back in 2023 and before then. Now, while me personally, I don't believe that the National Guard will murder their own people, but then again, when it comes to Jake, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which makes up the biblical Israelites, all bets are off because that's the Heavenly Father's wrath towards you, man. So this whole ICE shit is just a prelude as to what's getting ready to happen to the tribes, man. And we've been warning you that this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath, and he's getting ready to unalive a lot of you Israelites, man. Okay, now I don't know what ethnicity of person that was in the vehicle, but I'm assuming it could have been a Northern Kingdom because, they did say U.S. citizen. So I'm assuming it wasn't illegal, but I'm guarantee you may have been an Israelite because that's how this devil gets down. So all you Israelites out there playing games and, being petty, hey, this is the bigger fish to fry here, because sooner than later, the doctrinal differences and all that even though, the doctrine that matters, okay, because that determines your salvation, whether you teaching the correct doctrine. But there's going to come a time that you dudes out there that's playing games with the Heavenly Father, this is going to come to your doorstep too, okay? This is going to come banging on your door, and if you're too caught up in nonsense and folly and superfluity, then you're just going to get caught up in this shenanigan right here, man. And I don't think you Israelites ready to deal with that. Okay, so I'm going to play a couple of minutes of this dude. This is Full Spectrum Survival. In my opinion, I think he does good videos. Him, Steve Ram. They do pretty good videos. But when it comes to the scriptures, stay out of it. All right. So anyway, here we go.
Listen now and hear me well. You're about to hear Pete Hegseth, the Department of War, swearing in new National Guards members. Some of these will be part of the quick reaction forces that go into every major city across the United States of America as we begin to see unrest, riots, and
civil unrest. And due to this Venezuelan conflict, which, you know, there's so many different narratives about that whole thing. It's sparking tensions across the globe now because China, Russia, Iran, they have financial interests in Venezuela. So I was reading something or looking at something that Trump was planning to see some type of Russian tanker or some shit like that. I got to go back and find the article. But in taking over Greenland, which is a province of Denmark, which is a subsidiary of NATO. So that goes Revelation 17 right there, when the beast shall hate the whore. And the EU, NATO breaking up. And hey, this shit is really going down, man. Okay, this dude, Trump, he's getting ready to plunge this country into civil unrest and the world into war. And I don't think people understand the gravity of what's getting ready to hit this place, man. This is why we got to be locked in and we got to stay focused and do what the hell is required of us, man. Okay?
protests. The government is preparing for something big. They want the National Guardsmen to remember exactly why they are doing what they are doing. So I want you to listen very closely to what he has to say and the reaffirming of the strict compliance to the U.S. Constitution.
All enemies, foreign and domestic. I state your name.
I, Tom Perez,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Commonwealth of Virginia
and the Commonwealth of Virginia
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And these meat puppets right here, and you got some Jakes and simple ass Jakes in there. You military Jakes are simple as hell. But these meat puppets, they sworn an allegiance to this wicked, to this murderous cabal called the U.S. Army, man. All right? There's nothing more but a fucking cabal. All right? Those generals and admirals and colonels and all them high-ranking officers, they're all Freemasons, man. Okay? They all pledge their allegiance to the Baphomet and to Satan. You know? So the higher you get up, just like being a detective, or you go to the CIA or the FBI, you get up in rank. You got to do things to stay in the good graces of your superiors, man. So if they swore allegiance to come and bash you upside your damn head, that's what the hell they gonna do. Because people are brainwashed by this system, man. That's why the scriptures call this place the mistress of witchcraft, bro. Okay?
That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States.
That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States.
Y'all hear that, right? So if Donald Trump gives an order to shoot on sight, anybody that's darker than a brown paper bag, they gonna do that shit.
The orders of the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And the orders of the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And the orders of the officers appointed over me.
And the orders of the officers appointed over me.
According to the law and regulations.
According to the law and regulations.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Reclaim the wild and expand your empire.
Oh my Lord, come on, man.
Congratulations.
So there you can see the order of righteousness being presented to the National Guard's people. It begins with the President of the United States of America. He has the supreme capability to have the National Guard act in the best interest of not that state, but the United States government. Then next you have the governor of that state and then the officers appointed over those National Guardsmen. So this conflict, our civil war, is possibly going to start from the top, the very top. Donald Trump will give the order, lock down the city, lock down the county, lock down the state.
They going to do just that because as I was going into back in September, they had this on the books already that they had to deploy troops to these different cities, man. So something is coming soon, you know. Let's get a precept real quick. The book of Psalms 10. And I'm going to start at verses 2. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices which they have imagined. Because this is a wicked device here that he's ploying. his instruments of war against the people, which is totally a violation against the Constitution. Like, ICE agents cannot murder U.S. citizens without a probable cause. So you just can't go around shooting people because they disobeyed a direct order or because they didn't comply to your draconian methods or to your Gestapo tactics, man. It says here, for the wicked boasted of his heart's desire and blessed the covenants whom Yahweh abhorred. The wicked through his pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in his thoughts. So what this devil was talking about, so God help me, what did he mention? A quote he just mentioned as they were swearing the oath. The Lord is not dealing with the United States military. The Lord is not dealing with the U.S. government. The Lord is not dealing with America at all on a righteous level. Instead, his judgment is set against this place. But it reads, his ways are grievous, always grievous. It says, and are far above out of his sight, for all his enemies he puffeth at them, and we're the enemies of this devil. It says here, he has said in his heart, I should not be moved, for I should never be in adversity. And he claims that because he claims to have the world's powerfulest military. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit, and fraud is under his tongue. It's mischief and vanity. But he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. So you better believe that this military attack will be concentrated to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans predominantly. Now, there will be casualties because you have a lot of whistleblowers and a lot of conspiratorial theorists out there that speak out against the system. So they too will be targeted. But the real threat is the Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, the Israelites. All right. There's going to be a great number of casualties among our people. And in this truth, because a lot of you guys in the truth, you don't understand what you're part of. Okay. This is just some hangout type ordeal where we get together and shout precepts and take pictures for the gram and rap and try to impress these strawberry harlots. Nah, bro, that ain't what this is about. But it says here, he lied in wait in secret as a lion in his den. He lied in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draw them into his net. Okay? And that net is a trap, man. Okay? It says here, he crouched and humbled himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Right? The military. So definitely military tactic, military takeovers on the board. Without a question. It's going to go there sooner than later. All right. It's that second at 16. Damn, it's like it's like my body is telling me I'm trying to be under the weather, but it's taking forever to actually kick through. Instead of my body fully kicking the virus all the way out, it's laying dormant. But they got this new super flu, whatever the hell this shit is going on. And I don't feel bad, but I just feel kind of congested, because I was around a couple of people that was a little ill maybe about a week ago. So I know my body sometimes is weird. Sometimes it fights it off. Sometimes it's delayed. But regardless of it, man, there's a lot of shit going on. So Salakia for the sniffles.
The governor will either side with the U.S. government or they will side with an anti-government movement. And in that, you will see the disruption to your everyday life. Going to the grocery store will be more like running a mission through an operating zone that is very dangerous for you and your family. Resupplying the things that you need each and every day or each and every week becomes a mission that has its own increased level of danger. This is why, as a prepper or a survivalist, you have got to get weeks and weeks worth of buffering materials. Your food, your...
The truth is, guys, an Edomite, because he never once mentioned having faith in the Heavenly Father. You want to get things, that's smart, cool. But ain't nobody got that kind of money to be buying months and years of fucking rice and beans and 1,000-round shells and military-grade weapons. Nobody got the fucking money to be doing all that shit. Oh, go buy 1,000 pounds of silver. Yeah, well, what money? These people are crazy, man. But that's why it's getting ready to get carnal, too.
Water, your medicine. Now, if you can do drive-thrus and you can do pickups at the store, that definitely puts you in another position. Do not go into the stores when this type of violence starts to creep into your city or state, even when it's just echoes or you just hear a little bit about it in whispers on social media. Understand very clearly that we are entering into what will be the year that shapes our entire country. We will either see the downfall of the constitutional republic of the United States of America, and inside of that democracy,
Ebony. Download now.
You always wondered why that app didn't exist. Now you can make it. Meet Replit Agent.
or we will see a new rising to power that is the America of old. A time when you didn't have to.
That's not going to happen. The place is through. This place will not return to the former glory. Never.
Worry about your children being trafficked and those traffickers operating inside of the schools that you are supposed to trust them within. A time when you do not have to worry about your doctors narking on you. Instead, they're there to help you. Right now, they work for the pharmaceutical agencies. Right now, almost everything is taxed against you. We might see a huge revenue and tax issue rise up in the streets of the United States. This will be a year to be remembered. Okay, folks, let's keep on going here because you know I'm doing the doom scrolling so that you don't have to. Make sure you're subscribed here, Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. That's how you join the family. It's free. It's on YouTube. And join us in the comments.
Given the capture of Maduro, about if that temporary protected status is indeed going to end or if there's going to be a new discussion regarding it. What can you tell us about that program?
Well, that program, temporary protected status, is meant to be just that, which is temporary, and we've seen...
That nigga Maduro kicking it, man. Kicking it. All right. This is the book of Jeremiah 6, and I'm going to start at verses 22. It says, "And thus says Yahweh, behold, a people coming from the north country, and a great nation should be raised on the sides of the earth. And they should lay hold on bow and spear, and they are cruel and have no mercy, and their voice roar like the sea. And they ride upon horses set in array as men for war against the old daughter of Zion." That's the military. All right. And Esau is going to use his military to get shit done, especially to come up against the tribe. So just be warned. Okay.
Too many times the loss of integrity in that system. We've seen people come over from Venezuela who are members of Tren de Aragua. They entered this country legally using temporary protected status.
So here's what I see happening. We just took Venezuela. We'll next kick out all...
Allegedly took Venezuela. Reports coming out that they didn't really take it. And they got like up to like a 6 million ground force that they can combat the United States. Now, how true that is, I don't know. But everything ain't been transparent. And if you watching like Fox News, this shit is a joke. Okay, CNN, Fox News, it's a fucking joke. Right? All falsified misinformation. And they push false narratives because this is a small hat based news program, man, which they all are, by the way.
Legally using temporary protected status.
So here's what I see happening. We just took Venezuela. We'll next kick out all of the temporary protected status individuals that are inside of this country, not as legal citizens forever, but who are here as guests temporarily. Trump will have the justification to do this because, look, we're making Venezuela safe again. Look, we took away what America called the dictator in authority inside of that country. You can go back and rebuild your country as you want to. They're going to do the same with Colombia. They're going to do the same with Cuba. They will do the same with Iran. And we are already seeing the stoking of military conflict around Greenland. Speaking of Venezuela, here is some of the people. You probably won't see this on any of the big outlets. They're dragging the statue of Nicolas Maduro through the street.
And I don't believe that for 1 second. Esau likes to spin a narrative. I don't think the Venezuelan people hate Maduro as much as they let on, especially if he wasn't playing ball with the United States, because the average person from Venezuela know that America is corrupt. And if I got it right, he was staving out, or he wasn't trying to do business with them out of corruption and then protect his resources, then why would they be mad at him for that? You know, because last time I talked, I don't think he was playing ball with the United States. And this is the reason why they faced that economic deficit going on the last fucking 15 years or so. But I don't know, I can be off, but, you know, hey, it's a lot going on.
hung up, sparks flying, dragging it through the streets, hundreds and hundreds of military-aged men in the streets of the country of Venezuela. Now, here's my concern. These military-aged men, they are ready to act. They're angry at the country as it has been operated for years. They will either see the temporary or maybe permanent protectionism of the United States of America as a godsend, or they will see what is happening within that country as a reason to rise to power. You will see factions and gangs begin to organize inside of the streets, and you're probably going to see some sort of violent retribution here inside the United States of America, because we do have Venezuelans calling for attacks on government.
So see, there you go. And Esau knew that. That's the whole point. So they already knew how to, they already had it already set up from the beginning. And to be technically honest, all these governments and corporations are all in bed with one another. Don't think for one second that the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro, because allegedly him being in captivity, looked like nigga was chilling for real. But Maduro, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong, whatever his name is, Putin, they all in bed with one another. They all have a plan. They all operate under the guisemanship of the elites. Different families cover different factions, and different families control, you know, the aspects of government, and then they put them against one another, and it's all a stage, man. At the end of the day, the people suffer. Because believe it or not, when all hell breaks loose and this third world war kicks off, Putin, Trump, and all these top officials, they all gonna be down in the same goddamn bunker. So at the end of the day, it's smoke and mirrors, but nonetheless, it's prophetic, by the way. Okay? It says here, thus says Yahweh, behold, a people coming from the north country. I've read that already. It says, we've heard the fame thereof, and our hands wax feeble. Angers have taken a hold on us, as pain as a woman in travail. O daughter of my people, Salakia. It says, go not forth into the field, nor walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy in fear is on every side. So they're going to surround your neighborhoods, man. Surround your cities. You won't be able to hit the interstate and get out of the city to hit the backside of country roads. That's why it's a good idea to know the back roads, too, of your cities, man, in case you got to hop a jet up out of here. But at the end of the day, whether you know or not, the Heavenly Father is going to provide the way for us. So don't stress yourselves out. Oh, I got to know the back roads. I mean, it's good to be educated on these things, but if the Spirit haven't hopped on you to do so, then just depend on Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Because, you know, you got to depend on the Lord. He set the provisions up. If it's meant for you to get caught up in this thing, then that's just what it is. But the elect, we going to escape. You know, like the scriptures goes and says, a bird escaping out of a cage, we going to get delivered, man. But it says here, go not forth into the field, nor walk by the way, for the sword of the enemy and fears on every side. O daughter of my people, gird thee with sackcloth, and wallow thyself in ashes. Make thee mourning as for an only son, most bitter lamentation, for the spoiler shall suddenly come upon us. And that spoiler is this devil, man. All right? Put a little bit more.
Law enforcement, military, and the people of the country who stand behind Donald Trump. And there you have a division that could bring violence into your city and state.
No, you're wrong in your question. Number one, Venezuela is a major source. And the reason why is the following. And I've seen a lot of this reporting, and it's fake reporting, and I'll tell you why. It says that somehow Venezuela is not involved in the drug trade because the UN says they're not involved in the drug. I don't care what the UN says. The UN doesn't know what they're talking about. Maduro is indicted by a grand jury in the Southern District of New York. That means the Southern District of New York presented the evidence to a grand jury, and a grand jury indicted him. And then a superseding indictment came out that was unsealed about 1.5 years ago that specifically detailed Maduro's actions. So number one, let there be no doubt, Nicolas Maduro is an indicted drug trafficker in the United States, and he's a fugitive of American justice.
Interesting words from Marco Rubio, not giving a whip about what the United Nations has to say. This is the United States of America. And that's definitely a pull.
See, that sets up division. Because they're going to take Greenland, which is a province of Denmark, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Then that's a direct violation of NATO policy. All right. Matter of fact, is Greenland part of Denmark? Yes, Greenland is autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. All right. Part of NATO. Well, yes, because Denmark, it says, yes, Greenland is part of NATO because it is a self-governing territory with the Kingdom of Denmark, and Denmark is a NATO member, bringing Greenland under Alliance Collective Defense umbrella. So he wants to take that shit. But at the same time, America is part of NATO too, but this is how they're breaking up, man. Everybody in Europe is seeing what this damn devil was doing, and Europe is collapsing because of the actions of the United States, which is not going to be a good favor once this dollar collapses. It's going to be hell to pay.
Away from what administrations in our past have allowed to be operated inside of our country. Isn't it crazy that for years they told you all these bad guys? Iran, bad guys. Russia, bad guys. And then they allowed their envoys here on American soil.
See, and this dude, he's very biased, okay? He's like a white Anton Daniels to some degree. But you can't blame him, though, because this is his kingdom. He's an Edomite. He's a cold-blooded Edomite, so of course he's going to say that. No matter what type of hell that Trump or Babylon is bringing on the people of the world, stealing resources and bombing people for the fuck of it, this dude will never see it that way because they sense of entitlement to steal people's resources and land. Esau believes he's entitled to it, and he's not.
That's crazy. They say that these people are killers. It's crazy. So it's almost like somebody beating up your daughter or a friend of yours or a family member.
Let me run
and
that
then
back.
you
Hold on, let me run it back.
American justice.
Clarify that.
Interesting words from Marco Rubio, not giving a whip about what the United Nations has to say. This is the United States of America, and that's definitely a pull away from what administrations in our past have allowed to be operated inside of our country. Isn't it crazy that for years they told you all these bad guys? Iran, bad guys. Russia, bad guys. And then they...
Okay, Salaki, I stand corrected. He wasn't saying it like they were, but this is the narrative they're putting out on these people. Salakia. But nonetheless, he's still an Edomite, and you still believe in the sovereignty of America, and he has that mindset.
Allow their envoys here on American soil. That's crazy. They say that these people are killers. It's crazy. So it's almost like somebody beating up your daughter or a friend of yours or a family member, and then you letting them into the house just because it's Thanksgiving or just because you want to talk about something. So that day is over. The United States of America is changing, and we have to be prepared for that change on pretty much every front.
So I pray and hope that 2026 will be.
Look at that hat that Lindsey Graham puts on, folks. Make Iran great again. MAGA, that's what they're going for. A new Middle East. One that is operating.
That's Habakkuk 2. That's a taunting proverb right there against Babylon. Let's get that. Habakkuk 2. Because the nations are tired of this fucking place, bro. Hell, be tired of it. I know they're tired of it. If they're tired of it, then we know, then we damn sure tired of it because we see what goes on. First view here. Habakkuk 2. And I'm going to start at verses 7. 6. It says, shall they not take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? That's a taunting proverb, a saying. Proverb goes into sayings. It says, and say to him, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, and how long? And to him that laden himself with thick clay, which is debt. It's all over geopolitics and economics, man. That's all it is.
Fully by Israel and the United States of America, whether it's through proxy or through predominant action.
Because we don't want ships taken by Somalia pirates. But what they are doing is they're stealing money from the American taxpayer. And every one of them should be forced to leave this country, including Ilhan Omar, who's a total crook. And she's one of the leaders of it. Not the only, because she's not that smart.
So there you have, and isn't it interesting that Tim Walz just backed out of his re-election campaign? There you have Donald Trump speaking of Somalia and the pirates that take United States money, whether they're pirates here on American soil or they're pirates operating internationally. He says kick every one of them out of the United States of America, including Ilhan Omar. Folks, we are definitely seeing a changing country this year.
So yeah, man. Shit finna hit the fan. Going back to the original point. 2 Ezra 16. And I'm going to start at verses 70. It says, "For there should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear their heavenly Father. For they should waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they should be tried as gold in the fire." So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Shem Shai. Lord's will, you are edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.